2-minute drill time Friday morning on the DHA Morning Jolt. Jim Monaghan along with Chris Swendeman. Chris, kind of a slow week. You've got the NHL in their all-star break. Rangers doing better than the Devils, who I think are in trouble. I think the Rangers could really go deep in the playoffs this year.
I agree, and not just being a Ranger fan, but I got to be honest. The team looks really good, but they're starting to get some holes. They lost Filipino for the year, so they need a centerman. I think Chris Drury, their GM, is going to be very busy at the trade deadline, which is just a few weeks away. As is the Devils GM, who they have a lot of holes. Are they going to find a goaltender before the trade deadline? That'll be huge for them.
You mentioned trades and going back to the NBA now. The Knicks making that trade a few weeks ago, and there were a lot of Knicks fans who were really, really upset. This team has gelled. They've come in with a couple of big winning streaks, including one going into last night's game. They won 8 in a row. They look good.
If you're a Knicks fan, this is the most fun you've had since the days of Patrick Ewing, Anthony Mason, and Charles Oakley. This team is fun to watch, and I'm telling you, they get into the playoffs, which they will. They are going to be a tough out. They are going to be a real tough out because they have grit, they have heart, and they have a lot of passion. And Tom Thibodeau's got them playing good ball.
We're a couple of weeks away from pitchers and catchers reporting the news breaking earlier this week that the Orioles being sold to a group that includes Cal Ripken Jr. and former NBA All-Star Grant Hill. I think this is good news, obviously, for the Orioles because there's going to be some money put into the team. I think it's also good for baseball.
I think it's good for baseball. I think David Rubenstein, the primary owner, is a Baltimore guy, born and raised in Baltimore, loves the Orioles, always has, and he's very philanthropic, gives back to where he grew up, in and around the Baltimore area. And I think he's going to put money, and I think the group is going to put money into the team, which they haven't seen. And they have a really good young core. And if they could build around that young core, they're going to be a problem for the Yankees and for the rest of the AL East, for that matter.
But the big sports story this weekend is how much are we going to be watching Taylor Swift at the Super Bowl a week from Sunday?
Well, I'll give you a stat right now, Jim. 44 total seconds is the amount of time that Taylor Swift was shown during the AFC Championship game. And for those of you keeping score, that's 99.61% of the game where she wasn't shown. So everybody, another week of Taylor Swift. Guess what? It wasn't that bad. Stop. Get over it. It'll be fine. Trust me. Your football will not be impeded by Tay-Tay.
And speaking of whining, I'll never watch another NFL game crowd that was just all up in arms about 8 years ago when Colin Kaepernick took a knee. The ratings for the NFC and AFC championship games were through the roof. So either you're back watching the games or you've been replaced. It's as simple as that.
The NFL is too big to fail. And now you have the biggest pop star on the planet, maybe since the Beatles, as you've said, and I agree with you, being a fan of the game because her boyfriend plays for one of the biggest teams in the NFL. The NFL is a powerhouse right now. And if you're not watching, you're just lying to yourself.
And we won't even get into the speculation about how Taylor Swift may or may not influence the 2024 presidential election. That's the 2-minute drill for another week here at 105.5 WDHA. Thanks, Swendeman.
You got it, Jim. Enjoy the down week, and we'll get ready for the Super Bowl next week.